Hey guys, what's going on? Rabbit here. Another ladder replay featuring Artosis against a Protoss A rank, and we are on Polestar today. Just got done doing a Agony compilation series of Artosis's a short while ago, and figured now we would just grab a more standard replay from Seawall and see what our players have in store for us today. So a purple versus red cross spawns should be fun, should be fine. Tracking all the players, no worries at all. It is a 38-degree day in Melbourne. It is very, very warm. It is a great day to be sitting in an air-conditioned space recording some Broodwar, and that is what we're going to be doing. And it looks like we're going to be... Oh wow, that's a very, very late gateway. Not very optimal mining from our Protoss. And we will keep an eye on our Artosis factory timing, because I know he made a video on one of his channels not too long ago that he was trying to do a 2-minute 30 or 2-minute 27 factory, and hasn't been hitting those metrics in the games of his that I've been watching. But this is something that I look at each and every one of his games, just to kind of see what the range is. His opponent isn't going Nexus first, so it isn't going to matter all that much. Once games go into, you know, sort of the mid and the late game, lots of other factors become significantly more relevant than your factory timing. But at a, you know, obviously at a pro level, which this is most definitely not, these timings certainly do matter. And an A-rank player that I know and spoke to a few years ago, he plays Zerg. He said to me, timings or on buildings and stuff like that pretty much only start mattering at A-rank plus, which I thought was an interesting perspective on things. But yeah, I mean, I've seen players who are playing S-rank that are using building optimizations and mining optimizations as pretty big weapons, especially to overcompensate a lot of their shortfalls. I was not paying proper attention, but that was definitely not a 2-minute 30-second. It was quite a bit after that. And yeah, that's it. On we will go. We're making a Dragoon. Looks like we're doing all of the standard things. So Iced Soda is the name of the game while we are recording. Got a bit of a headache, so probably only going to limit myself to 2 games of recording today and then just do a bit of editing. The workflow does never end if you want to try and maintain a frequent upload schedule. I definitely don't upload as much as others, but I also just don't have the time to devote to this project, and it is very much just a passion project for me anyway. So I do try and maintain 3 to 4 days a week as best I can, but you know what? If I have other things in my job or personal life that become more important, then this naturally will be one of the first things to take a back seat. But for now, we're maintaining a pretty good schedule. It is the 24th of January today, and we've probably got content up until the middle of February already done in the can, so to speak. And we will continue to build up. I think the more I'm going along, the more I'm getting a good idea of the content that I kind of want to concentrate on for 2026. I'm getting some feedback in the comments saying, please cast Toggles. And I'm like, who the hell is Toggles? So I would love people, if you are one of those who is in the know, to please enlighten me on that, to tell me who Toggles is. I would just find that very interesting. So who is he, and why are people asking for his games to be cast? A bit of pressure here. I imagine he went, yeah, he definitely went range. Robo on the way. So a 1-gate expansion into Robo from our Protoss. Pretty standard stuff. Tank is in production. Should be able to push this away pretty easily. I've laid a few mines. Wow, thinks he's freaking Bisu here with his little mine micro. It's a pretty decent thing there. Artosis is laying a few mines here as well, so getting a decent amount of vision on the expansion pattern of our Protoss. Observatory on the way. Second gateway. Not the most optimal base layout here, actually. I think this is a bit... This gateway is not well positioned. Could make another one here. I suppose you could figure it out. It's just a strange sort of template. But this is something that only only Protoss players will understand. Not only Protoss players will understand. You've got to also plan your buildings out as Terran. But with Protoss, your pylons can like get in your way. It can be hard to find place to build all of them. Every race has got its own burdens and struggles, that's for sure. So he's not going to be able to expand here without an observer. Does have one in the production tab though, and it'll be interesting to see if this Protoss is a Reaver player or not, because that is definitely the modern day Kabubble. Nice little block going to come in here from Artie. He's definitely going to kill this probe. Couple of turrets, so Artie is assuming Reaver. At this stage, he doesn't have any reason to do that. It just is. Does establish his third. Pretty quiet game so far. Not going to get in here. Sorry about the clinking of ice blocks, if you heard that on the microphone. Just do it again to make sure you did. We should be well saturated or quenched or whatever the frickin' term is. Satiated, and that's like a fullness thing. Okay. Where is our siege mode? I'm assuming we already have siege mode. We are making more factories. This is very much the 1 armory, 5 factory, take a third base style that we're seeing a lot of. So we'll keep an eye on the production tab from Artosis. He's now only researching siege mode, so could be in a bit of grief here if he's not careful. Didn't make a whole heap of turrets. It was a bit of a catch-all, I think. It's probably a good way of describing it. Let's pick up a few probes there. Nicely done. Making a citadel. So this could be Arbiter. Yeah, I think it's going to be. And this 8-minute command center is becoming standard now. 1 armory, 5 factories. Artie's done it off of 4 factories in this particular game. But I won't be surprised once he saturates this third to see that factory count explode. I also won't be surprised to see, now that this observer flew in here and saw what he needs to see, that we get a 4th base. Legs, zealots, shuttle. So not actually getting our Stargate or Templar archives. So could just be a timing, trying to hit sort of 200 supply at 12 minutes. We'll have to see how many gateways we're making. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 gateways on 3 bases. Surprised not to see him taking another base. Has stopped making workers, so definitely plans to try and ramp up the production. Artosis has this base online. Needs to transfer some workers. Does have plenty of them to transfer. He's got 60 already, so does hit the transfer button now nicely. And alright. No bruised goons there, thankfully. And Mr. Blue 2100 should be establishing his 4th base. No problem, there it is. Get better net. I assume there's a bit of lag or something. Okay, so we are zealots And we are making a Stargate as well. 130 plays 100. Terran should have about 140 supply at 12 minutes. I reckon his factory count will explode. So here we go. So he's going to have all the factories he needs. He's just got to start pumping out units. Mr. Blue is floating a bit of money here. Makes me wonder why. He also doesn't have any rallies set. He's making Arbiter. Okay, so it is Arbiter, but it's not a fast Arbiter, if that makes sense. So Arbiter is definitely part of the plan. But he's not trying to bust with stasis or anything like that. You can see suddenly the supplies are very close to each other. And this is very much why this style of play, where you get the third base off of 4 or 5 factories, and then you get your starport and the other tech as Terran, becomes so popular. It's killed a lot of timing attack builds, made them far less viable. This Vulture is getting a lot of kills. This Protoss is doing nothing about it. Eventually does tidy it up, but pretty sloppy stuff, to be honest. Okay, up to our 5th base. I think this Protoss has been allowed to kind of just expand fairly freely. Artosis though is probably got some inklings towards a 4th base of his own. If our Protoss attacks into Terran here, I really don't see it going well for him. You can kind of see he's posturing around a little, but Artosis is camped and perfectly waiting for this. The only thing is, ideally he would have a bit more map control here, which could enable him to take this expansion without too much of a problem. Zealot there is just going to go confirm that that expansion is in fact not yet taken. And here we go. We are just storming straight in with so many mines. And I don't think one Zealot got near anything. This is incredibly hard for me to believe that this is an A rank Protoss, because that was, in a word, terrible. Absolutely terrible play. Right, he does have an Arbiter in production. Is researching stasis. Is obviously running his ground unit upgrades. He's getting a shuttle. Another Stargate on the way. And another Arbiter in production. So he will have at least 2 Arbiters. Where is his Arbiter? Here he is. So we'll keep an eye on what his Arbiter is doing when he uses him. Artosis should be in a position to field some science vessels. I do see one in the production tab, so he should have all of the detection he needs. And now we just see a mass move out here, some really big fights. And I like this. Artosis has got heaps of tanks, he's got loads of vultures. He just needs to try and keep his army together. Needs a science vessel with this. Does scan though pretty proactively. Lots of zealots getting on top of the tanks. Not quite as many vultures as you would ideally want to tank for this, but Mr. Blue 2100 Protoss is falling behind in supply, and also is floating a little bit of money, whereas Artosis is staying nice and sharply onto his macro, which has been really good. Okay, so we are, by the looks of things, counter-attacking with all of our Dragoons. Problem is, you could get surrounded here. Yeah, so now his Dragoons are all dead because they cannot retreat. They've been totally sandwiched. And a rule of thumb, you're taught as a Protoss player. If you lose all your Dragoons, your game is over. A couple of DTs wandering around. Zero tooling it up. Another expansion over here from our Protoss. showering mines. I haven't seen him make High Templar. I haven't seen him research Storm. Yeah, it's got four zealots in there, so nothing else. I don't actually know how Artosis matched with this guy. He is, in a word, not very good. Still just chilling here with the shuttle. So random. Does finally drop these zealots, and these vultures could assist. Made a few mines on the way out, on the retreat path. Everybody, well, the vultures will die, and so do the zealots. Alright, so we're moving out. We hear the swiping blade of a DT, where are your science forces? There they are. Lost a few too many tanks there. But still, Artosis with a massive advantage. And expanding to a fourth base as well. Although he's got nothing defending it, so he's going to have to get a move on. Although, he's just going straight to the main. And parking here in the natural. He doesn't even lift this off, it doesn't matter if he does. Too many interference anyway. This is relatively undefended, so he should be able to push this next. This is undefended as well, and Artie has moved in on the spot quite nicely. So when you get to a position as Protoss, when your natural is under siege like this, unless you have another main base like this one with production, your game is pretty much over. It does have a couple here, so speaking of the main with a bit of production, a couple of gateways, but he's going to be stuck. But do with a few more units supporting. Has flanked this though, and does manage to push these units away. The one thing that this Protoss has going for him is he's got a lot of bases. Artosis' fourth has been destroyed, so he is mined out here, so he's in essence only on one base, which is this one. And that is massively problematic for him. He really does need to establish another base. And I think that's potentially where he could end up losing this game. Stasis, his own. No, sorry, I'm talking rubbish. Stasis on Goliath and the tanks. Long distance mining here. So money is really what's killing him. Still has plenty of army value. But this base with its production and the fact that the pressure's been released here for him to just flood out units is going to make a huge difference. And here do come the zealots, and he doesn't have the kind of numbers, particularly in vultures, protecting his tanks that he did before. So these trades are going pretty decently. Not fantastic, just decently. Because he's got almost bottomless amounts of money by comparison, he can continue to trade terribly. This is Artosis' remaining revenue. And this key base has actually made 2 command units here. It's key base, but he's got nothing defending it. lost about 12 so ACVs. I think he's gonna have enough, yeah. Protoss just got streams and streams and streams of units. Trying to establish this base now. This one, but everything is pretty unprotected. Mr. Blue's got this mining. He's got this mining. Admittedly, he has lost that. And this isn't established, but I think on the economics alone, Artosis is going to take this one. I think Artosis will look back on this game and he'll be pretty disappointed. I definitely think he had windows where he could have won, he could have expanded quicker. He could have protected potentially his bases a little better. But you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's a hard game. Not on me to say what he could have done better or not better. This game does often just come down to the most simplistic macroeconomic factors. Still fighting valiantly. This is a pretty valuable target, being one of his main fighting bases. He's got plenty of army supply. He's just streaming units after units after units. And yep, that's going to be that. Holds on to this position and kills that vessel. A lot of gas. One thing, ironically enough, that Artosis seems to actually have plenty of. So has got this established. But you can see the swarm of red coming towards his base. What is going to protect it? He needs to move these units, but there's no point being here now. It's not established. You might as well try and protect here. Could do some recalls now as well. If it really needs to. SCV is being pulled, wrecked along the way. Very few surviving. It's going to be the end of that. He basically won this game with Dragoons and Zealots and just had enough bases. A little bit of Arbiter support. Made one shuttle, I think. Just a very, very simple sort of blunt hammer macro style. Just a bludgeon type style from our Protoss. And we can make command centers like they're going out of fashion. I think this army could probably just take this up too. It's nearly maxed out and he's got Arbiter support. That's going to be the end of that. So, yeah, pretty mediocre game, I think, from both players. But Protoss just embracing the most simplistic premise. Have lots of bases, have lots of money. Don't have to fight well, don't have to trade well. Just have to do it well enough. And if you can deny bases, which is what he managed to do. He basically got Artosis stuck on three bases, and then when Artosis mined out of his main and his natural, from then he was really struggling. And the game was just about over. Not giving up the lost cause just yet. Here comes the final battle. He does give a nice mannery GG. But overall, I don't think this Protoss player was a world beater by any stretch of the imagination. Did do a few basic fundamental things quite well. In fact, while we are still going, we can have a look at the replay. I tend to go when a player didn't do anything all that well. Fundamentally, what was the difference? And here's the answer, right? He mined 53,000 minerals versus 36,000. It is a huge differential. Doesn't matter how good the rest of your game is. If you cannot match the economics, even if you trade at a slight deficit, that's fine. But this financial deficit in terms of resources is just insurmountable. And that's why Artosis took the L. All right, well, thanks very much for tuning in, guys. I will be back again very soon. Until next time, I'm Rabaru. You must take it easy.